Welcome back to the Behind the Well Show. I'm your host, Roger Abel, here with Elias Randall. Elias, pretty nice day out there today.
Yeah, beautiful day. Beautiful.
We did a video here, I don't remember how long, a couple of weeks ago, and actually one of our, an individual that we work with actually sent back a question and wanted to know about Backdoor Roth IRA, how, when, and why. So I thought today we'd kick off the show. We'll talk about who the Backdoor Roth IRA is really great for and when it's used, how it's used, and hit on some of those things. And I think the first thing to understand is that a Backdoor Roth IRA is just a strategy to get money into a Roth IRA even if your income exceeds the IRS eligibility requirement. So that's the first thing. Backdoor Roth IRA is for people who are above the income limit. And, you know, that sounds like a lot of money, but with how wages have inflated, there's a lot of people that don't qualify for the Backdoor Roth IRA. So let's talk about how it logistically works. Logistically, everybody is eligible to make an IRA contribution regardless of income. Your income only matters to determine whether that contribution is tax deductible or not. So if you're making over this income threshold, you would make a non-deductible IRA contribution, then instantly convert it to a Roth IRA. And that's all the Backdoor Roth IRA is. It sounds really complicated. It's a very simple process to do if you know the mechanics of it. Now, it's still subject to all the contribution limits that a Roth IRA or a traditional IRA have. If you don't convert it right away, right? If you make a contribution to a non-deductible IRA and it grows in value, and then you convert it, which is what I do, right? I do mine monthly. I invest every month, then I convert it one time a year.
Yep.
Actually, I do mine weekly. And it's invested. If you have earnings, you would owe tax on the earnings. So that's the downside of waiting to convert. A lot of people just put the money in, convert right away. So that's the logistics of how it works. There are some rules that we're going to talk about that you have to be very aware of if you do this, because if you don't understand where your assets are, what type of plans your assets are in, the tax benefits may be negligible for what you're doing. People who should consider Backdoor Roth IRA, high income earners. If you're earning a high income and you're not eligible to do a Roth, the backdoor is for you. If you want tax-free growth, if your goal is tax-free growth or estate planning, a lot of people plan on transferring assets to the next generation. Truth be told, a Roth IRA is a great way to do it. You know, there's some new rules out there with inherited Roth IRAs that would require you to take those distributions out over 10 years. But either way, the assets pass on a tax-free basis to the next generation.
Are there folks that it's maybe not great for?
I mean, not necessarily, because it's a contribution, different than a conversion. Like we've had the conversation about, you know, there are some people that maybe a conversion isn't always right for. But if you have discretionary money and you're eligible to do this Backdoor Roth IRA, and we'll talk about some of the things that would potentially preclude you from doing it, there's really no reason to not do it. Like I couldn't think of a reason why you wouldn't do a Backdoor Roth IRA or just make a Roth IRA or any IRA contribution. It's just extra money you're saving. It's different. Like if a person who's 63 came to me and said, should I convert all of my IRA to a Roth IRA? I don't know. Like we'd have to put some thought into that. We'd have to run some numbers.
But when you're just looking at purely contributions, right. So it's hard to get to a point where the tax-free growth, like how do you come up, that's where I always struggle with is what's the con of having an account that has tax-free growth if you're going to be an investor anyway. That's why I have a hard time coming up with an argument for why someone shouldn't do it.
Yeah, I can make the argument there's no reason if you have the funds available, there's no reason why you wouldn't do a Roth IRA or a Backdoor Roth IRA. I could make the argument against doing conversions though. So I think that's what you were getting at. Is there a reason? I would say there's not a reason. Okay.
Yep.
And the other thing is, with a Roth IRA, there's no limit on there's number one, there's no RMD, right? So as long as you have earned income, you can contribute to this thing until you're 80 years old. I have a individual client. She's passed away now. She's 83 years old, and she was doing some freelance work, which she had earned income for. And every year she'd max out a Roth IRA. She's like, I don't know why I wouldn't do this. And then all the funds went to her beneficiary, which she had one daughter, all went on a tax-free basis. So there are some pitfalls you should consider. You need to understand where your retirement assets are located. Is it in a 401k, a simple IRA, traditional IRA? If your funds are in any type of an IRA, so traditional, simple, SEP, you'll be subject to the pro rata rule when you convert this. And what that means, if you have $100,000 and let's say you have $94,000 and you add $6,000 to a non-deductible IRA and convert it, 94% of the conversion is going to be taxable. Where if you had no money in traditional IRAs, 100% of the conversion is non-taxable. There's no tax due on the non-deductible IRA because you've already paid tax on it. So that's just something to people to be aware of. I don't think it's a reason to not do it. I think it goes to analyze your situation, and if conversions make sense, start working at them early. Like my family, we've converted almost all of our money to Roth. All we have really is employer contributions that are still in pre-tax. And here's the other thing that's happened. Most employers now are offering Roth 401ks. So let's say you have $1 million IRA you don't want to convert. Okay, well, maybe you can just be adding more to your employer plan through that Roth portion of the employer plan. And so before anybody out there goes and does backdoor Roth IRAs, conversions, I really think it makes sense to consult with some type of a professional, probably tax and financial professional. We're obviously there to help people, btwellshow.com.
I think another event that I've seen that comes up, and then this is a good question to start looking at, is when someone leaves an employer, or, you get a new job somewhere and maybe you're looking at doing rollovers and things like that. If this is something you're considering, which would be very wise to have a professional help you, is there ways to get money into 401ks and not have so much in an IRA, so then you can do the backdoor Roth? Because sometimes that does stop people with the pro rata rules and stuff like that. So it's I think switching employment is a good time to start to consider, is there a way I can get this to work out for me where I'm not subject to a bunch of tax and other things that would sneak up on me otherwise?
Well, it goes to a bigger conversation. The conversation is, do you want tax-free income? And if you start to look at the benefits of tax-free income in retirement, especially if you're young and you leave that employer, traditionally people have taken that employer 401k, let's call it, mostly pre-tax, and they roll it over or they leave it in that 401k. But if you're 35 years old and you had a $50,000 rollover from a previous employer, maybe there's some validity to saying, hey, instead of converting 50,000 at one time, let's just start doing 5 or 10,000 a year and slowly work out of this without causing a lot of adverse tax consequences. And your advisor probably can help you do that. And we know that tax-free growth and tax-free distributions benefit young people the most because they have time to let it grow, and it benefits people who want to leave a legacy. I mean, if you're 60 years old and you got $5 million in an employer plan, it's probably going to your kids or whoever is the beneficiary of your choice. Could be a church or charity as well. But if it's going to kids, grandkids, siblings, loved ones, it may make sense to convert some of those dollars and get them tax-free just to eliminate the tax burden on them.
It might. I do like your point about it's hard to come up with a reason not to contribute to a Roth, especially if you can. And I would not recommend this to people, but one thing to consider with a Roth is everything you put in, or otherwise known as your cost basis, you can take out without penalty too. So at some point it can almost be a big emergency fund. Now, I wouldn't rob my Roth IRA unless I absolutely had to, right? Needed funds. But just with all the different benefits, it's hard to come up with reasons why people shouldn't do it.
For sure. And just think about all the people that are sitting out there that have a lot of money in their savings account, right? Well, if you're sitting on $100,000 in your savings account or $50,000, why wouldn't you do your annual Roth IRA or Backdoor Roth IRA and just put it in an account that, number one, has the better opportunity to grow likely. You actually could buy a CD right in there. You can do the same thing and it's tax-free. Let's move on. We have another listener question. I'm going to tee this one up for you, Elias, for you to answer. So this is from Alex. Alex asks, I plan to retire at 62. That's 4 years, so he's 58 years old. Well, I guess it could be a she. I'm not sure if it's male or female. I have no debt, approximately $200,000 in savings, make about $1,500 a month from a rental home I own, and will collect Social Security when I retire. Do I need a financial advisor to help me with the retirement process? I don't see much potential benefit.
Okay, so that's a good question. And, if you're wondering about the benefits, I think there's a lot of benefit that an advisor and a firm can provide, especially with the retirement process. So just a couple things that come to mind off the top of my head are, you're planning to retire in 4 years. So one, do you know that you can retire in 4 years and continue living your lifestyle? Or that's a simple question, yes or no, do you know? The answer is, well, I'm not sure, or I don't know. Well, there's some value that an advisor could start to offer as far as quantifying that and educating you on whether you are on track or not. So, and I think there's also a lot of value in navigating financial decisions, especially with, everyone's situation is very fluid and variable, meaning people's lives change over time. So in this specific situation, what if you go for a period of time without any rental income from this rental property? What would your plan be if that were to happen? You should probably have some sort of idea of how you will fill that gap if that situation occurs. Or if you decide to no longer have a rental property, right? If you sell it, what are your options? What are you going to do from there to continue being successful? And then I think even some Social Security planning as far as what age should you file, what year, like what age should you start taking some benefits, and also your retirement savings. What's your income strategy going to be, right? And so those are just a few simple things that I can think of. And I think if any of the answers to those questions are, I'm not sure, well, then there's potentially value that someone could provide for you.
I think this is actually a great, I don't know what I want to call it, just scenario, because here's what's going through this individual's mind. I only have $200,000. All my income is going to come from rental and Social Security. I probably don't need somebody. Well, the number one thing I would tell Alex is, what's your budget? You better know what it is, because you don't have much wiggle room here. I mean, $200,000 isn't a whole lot of money. I'm just doing math. $1,500 a month. The Social Security check is probably like $2,000, because I'm going to guess this is either a self-employed individual or didn't make a lot of money at their job, decent wage, but not a lot, because they'd have more than $200,000 in savings. And in savings, it doesn't say if this is in a 401k or a savings account. So I'm tending to lean towards this is probably like an individual self-employed person. So $1,500 a month and $2,000 from Social Security, that's $3,500. That's not much lifestyle in today's day and age. And I know this is a pretty typical scenario for people. And I know he said he's debt-free. I really want to know if the rental property is debt-free. And the reason I asked this, I had an individual I talked to about 6 months ago, and it was a very similar scenario. Hey, I have about $100,000 saved for retirement, but I own these 5 rental properties. They bring in $7,000 or $8,000 a month. And they thought that was going to be retirement. I said, and they asked me if they should be investing more money because I had more discretionary cash. And I just asked them what their confidence level was in the stock market. They said, not much. And then I just asked, I said, are your real estate investments debt-free? No, I have notes. I said, if I were you, I'd just pay those off. That eliminates all your risk in retirement. It's going to be a situation where this person's going to have like $1,000 or $1,200 Social Security check. So sometimes, even though you don't feel like you have enough money to have an advisor, you should have one, because whatever it's going to cost you to get your questions answered, Alex, based upon the assets you have, there's enough value in a financial advisor to show you how this is going to work out, give you some confidence in retirement, make sure you don't overspend, because this is a scenario that gets pretty easy to overspend quickly.
Yeah, you can spend $200,000. You could spend that in a year if you're not careful.
Especially
if
you
make
have
bad decisions.
Remember, rental properties, not 100% is profit. There's always going to be expenses. Well, I'm doing the math, $18,000 a year. Okay, so you have $18,000 coming in. The insurance has to be at least $1,000. Okay, so now we got 17. Does it say is that net? Yeah, taxes are probably a couple thousand. Okay, so now we got 15. Like, it's probably more like $1,000 or $900 a month this individual has coming in. Back to, I have a great handle on what my budget is going into retirement.
And that'll be key. That'll be key. Knowing the budget and then ultimately sticking to it, especially for this specific scenario. So that ties in really good to another topic that was brought up. This is a requested topic from someone named Mike. So when I start taking money from my investments, does it matter which investments or which accounts rather? So 401k, IRA, Roth IRA, brokerage account, I start taking money from first. Well, yes, it does matter. And there's some general guidelines. The best way to figure out your distribution strategy is to have one that's specific to you and your situation. But just in general, I think a decent kind of starting place as far as philosophy goes of distribution is you kind of want to look at it through, okay, what are my pre-tax accounts? So that money you're going to pay tax on will be subject to RMD sometime in the future. So kind of by philosophy, that's kind of the first area to start to look. Second, I would say, is your taxable accounts, so your non-retirement accounts, subject to capital gains. And then third would be Roth accounts because they're growing tax-free. Now, that's a general philosophy guidance. It could absolutely be different for someone where I would say, well, we need to take some tax or pre-tax money and then supplement with tax-free because we're trying to control what bracket we ultimately end up in. But I just think for ease of understanding, I think that's a good starting place. What are your thoughts on that?
I think that this is one of the things advisors do for people that is probably overlooked by the consumer. The consumer thinks that advisor's job is to find good investments and all those things, where there's so much strategy that goes into what we do. And the software and technology that's available today, I mean, an advisor can look at your situation if they're using the right software and come up with a pretty good general idea of how much we should be taking from Roth, pre-tax, post-tax, non-retirement dollars to put you in the best possible situation. Now, there's always some things that can't be quantified, like if you decide you need an extra $30,000, right? So if someone says, hey, I need $60,000 this year, and we put together a strategy to do it and maximize a tax situation, and then they said, oh yeah, by the way, I want another 30. Well, you might have done something different. You follow what I'm saying?
Yes. Yeah.
So
that changes the situation.
Correct. But in general, very few people, most people have one way they do it. They just take it all from their 401k because that's their largest retirement asset. the individuals that we work with that are trying at a younger age to establish multiple, what we call buckets of money. So pre-tax money, which is 401k, non-retirement funds, which is taxable each year, and then tax-free money. We want people to have options so that the tax code isn't running our retirement plan. We're working around the tax code to pay the least amount of taxes possible. And this goes back to a discussion I had on a coaching call last week. And somebody asked a question. They were running into the rebuttal that everybody thinks you just put your money in the S&P 500 and move on down the road. And if all you think an advisor does, or all you're providing to your customers, is investment advice, well, then guess what? They may or may not be better off. They're going to get a result. This is where you can get an enhanced result by using an advisor. This is how we talk about getting an optimal result or an optimal outcome. It's working through and developing an individual, very specific distribution strategy that makes sense for you. I mean, I think of a couple of clients right now that we're running software all the time based upon what their estimated capital gains are, what their estimated dividends are, how much they've taken out. And we're actually doing that more to stay under the $206,000 and not creep up their Medicare premiums. That's really why we're doing it for the individual family I'm talking about. And they struggle every year because they have a bunch of income from different places. But using our technology, we can take a look at it and say, hey, I think we should do this. I think this makes the most sense long term.
Well, and that's, that kind of ties into these two questions that we're answering right now are very similar, but that's a lot of the value right there is what strategy is the most tax efficient to get this money out.
Well, it goes back to, 2024, we kind of coined the term, we're going to work on, personalized advice versus blanket advice. This is personalized advice. So, Elias, we have one last listener requested topic. I think this was actually emailed to us. I'm not sure, but it's from Gene. Our financial advisor passed away last year. We have been looking for someone new to work with. Our accounts were assigned to someone at the advisor's parent company. After 1 year, there's been no attempt to build a relationship. We get routed to a call center each time. After Googling some planners in our area, we've met with 2 people. Both immediately pitched us fixed annuity products for all of our money. And when we asked about keeping a portion of our money in accounts similar to what we currently have, we were told that they could not open accounts like that for us. Is there a way to tell before we go into a meeting with someone if they have the same investment capabilities as our previous advisor?
There is. Wow. So the term financial planner is, I guess, broadly used by folks in our industry with a variety of backgrounds. I think it's similar to, if you think about, here's one analogy I like to do with people when it comes to this topic. So anyone, including myself, I could go buy a pickup and put a toolbox in the back and a ladder rack on top of it and tell people I'm a carpenter, right? And then I look like a carpenter, and maybe I am, maybe I'm not. So this situation is just off surface level information. These are insurance agents that are calling themselves financial planners. They were pitched a fixed annuity product, so an insurance product for one, and then told that they don't have the capability of opening investment accounts. So that would signal to me they don't have the correct licenses to open investment accounts. And I think a way to find that, so there are resources out there for consumers. FINRA has a website, Broker Check, it's called FINRA's Broker Check, or the SEC's Investment Advisor Public Disclosure to check on advisors' backgrounds and then their licensing and regulatory standing.
So one thing I would do, if you see in the title of what they do, investment advisor or registered investment advisor, they're investment people.
Yeah, as far as the reps.
The
reps
yes,
title.
You likely know that they have the correct, because number one, LPL, our broker dealer, would not let you use the term investment advisor if you didn't have the appropriate licenses. You're not allowed to use that vernacular. We're a financial planner. Anybody can throw it out there, apparently, and use it. So if you don't want to go through FINRA broker check or the SEC, if you see the word investment advisor or registered investment advisor, they likely have the appropriate licenses. Another good tip is if you go to their number one, if they don't have a website, you probably shouldn't do business with them because they're not taking this business seriously.
Who doesn't have a website in 2024?
You'd be surprised. But go to the bottom of the website and look for disclosures. If there's nothing on the disclosure at the bottom of the page that say investments offered through broker-dealer XYZ or investments offered through registered investment advisory firm, they're insurance people. And there's nothing wrong with insurance agents, but it's not typically where you go to invest your monies with an insurance agent. I mean,
you should buy insurance.
Buy insurance through insurance agents. Right. They provide a phenomenal service for people. They're not investment people. That's not what they do. So I didn't mean to interject, but those are some things I do right away to figure out. If I Google somebody, are you an insurance agent or investment person? Just go to the bottom of the page. It tells you if they have a license.
And there's some other things. So if you do end up meeting, like in this situation, had 2 meetings, some questions you can ask are, what type of investment accounts can you manage here at your firm or with you, the rep?
So if they ask that question, Elias, what are you looking for? What kind of answers are you looking for? If you say, hey, what type of investments do you utilize here? What are you looking for?
So so in this situation, the answers was insurance products. So not securities license. But if they do have securities license and actually work with investments, they're going to be able to open brokerage accounts to buy securities in. They'll be able to open fee accounts where you pay a fee for fiduciary service and discretionary management. And then even just regular investment accounts too, where you can buy stocks, bonds, mutual funds, CDs, right? I believe you do have to have a securities license to sell a certificate of deposit. So if CDs, then you would know that they're securities licensed. Any answers just around like all of the accounts or fixed accounts or insurance products, or even if you had to do some sort of like underwriting to buy whatever you're buying, it's an insurance product.
If someone tells you need to get a physical to buy this investment, it's life insurance.
Right.
It's not an investment.
Yeah, there could be an investment aspect to it, but it's not just purely an investment. Yeah, I think another good question, how do you tailor investment strategies to meet client needs? Because then you're going to get an answer on like what type of process do you implement to bring solutions to the questions that I have. Where it sounds like there was initial consultation and then the solution was, here's a fixed product that I think you should buy. And if you're really looking for if you're looking for some sort of financial planning and goals-based planning, to be specific, there's going to have to be some sort of process to get that implemented, not just, a meeting and a recommendation.
So these individuals, they said right in here, one of the things in the email they put, there's been no effort to build a relationship. So this family wants a relationship. If you're a relationship type person and someone pitches you a product at the first meeting, I can tell you right now, that investment professional is not interested in a relationship. They are interested in a transaction.
Yeah.
We never pitch investments at the first meeting ever. Likely it's 3 meetings before you get any recommendation, because we are interested in building relationships with people so that we can get optimal outcomes. So just red flag, if someone pitches you a product at the first meeting, they do not want a relationship. They want to sell a product and move on to the next person to sell a product to.
Yeah, it's a lot more transactional. And I think you can get a good sense of that, like you mentioned, through their onboarding process. Really, if it's relationship focused, it's going to take some time to get to the answers.
Well,
and process focused too.
Some consumers just want a transactional relationship. So for some people, that's going to be a good fit.
I agree with that. I agree with that. I do agree with that. Not everyone's looking for a relationship and financial planning. Some people do just want to find an investment product that is suitable for their situation.
And there's nothing wrong with that. But in this situation, because they specifically said they wanted to no attempt to build a relationship. So I think those are all good things. The bottom line, just ask the person, what licenses do you have?
There you go. That's probably the simplest way to do it.
Any securities product, at a bare minimum, you have to have what's called a Series 6 license that allows you to use mutual funds.
Well, and anymore, you have to have that SIE exam passed as well before your Series 6.
But if you've been securities licensed for 30 years, you're grandfathered into that. You don't have to do it. So what you're looking for is Series 6 or a Series 7. Those two licenses, Series 6, 7, or 65. Any combination of those licenses means they are an investment professional and can offer products beyond fixed annuity or insurance products. That's just the easiest thing. What licenses do you have? You're looking for something. You're looking for some numbers to make it even simpler, right? If they don't have any numbers, they're not securities licensed.
Or, do you have securities licenses? Yes or no?
Yes or no. It's really simple. There's no in between. There's no vagueness. Yeah, here's the licenses that we have. And not in fairness, not everybody has the same licenses, and that does not mean they're good or bad planners. There are all kinds of different licenses, but the most general ones people can have are Series 6, 7, and 65. With that said, Elias, I want to thank you for showing up on today's show. If we have any listeners or watchers out there that want questions answered, we encourage you to send them in, because one of the things we want to do is provide really relevant content and information. If you like the content and information you're getting on this show, please make sure you subscribe. You can follow us on Facebook, X, YouTube. I don't even know the other ones, Mollywood. I want to thank everybody for listening and hope you enjoyed the show.
Securities and advisory services offered through LPL Financial, a registered investment advisor, member FINRA SIPC. The opinions voiced in this show are for general information purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual. To determine which investments may be appropriate for you, consult with your attorney, accountant, and financial or tax advisor prior to investing. Premier Investments and Wealth Management and LPL Financial do not provide tax advice. Please consult your tax professional. Economic forecasts set forth may not develop as predicted, and there can be no guarantee that strategies promoted will be successful. There's no guarantee that a diversified portfolio will enhance overall returns or outperform a non-diversified portfolio. Diversification does not protect against market risk. All performance referenced is historical and is not a guarantee of future results. All indices are unmanaged and cannot be invested into directly. There is no assurance that the techniques and strategies discussed are suitable for all investors or will yield positive outcomes. The purchase of certain securities may be required to affect some of the strategies. Investing involves risks, including possible loss of principal. Consult your tax professional about eligibility to Roth and traditional IRA contributions. Contributions and earnings in a Roth IRA can be withdrawn without paying taxes and penalties if the account owner is at least 59.5 and has held their Roth IRA for at least 5 years. Traditional IRA account owners have considerations to make before performing a Roth IRA conversion. These primarily include income tax consequences on the converted amount in the year of the conversion, withdrawal limitations from a Roth IRA, and income limitations for future contributions to a Roth IRA. In addition, if you are required to take a minimum distribution, RMD, in the year you convert, you must do so before converting to a Roth IRA. This information is not intended to be a substitute for specific individualized tax advice. We suggest that you discuss your specific tax issues with a qualified tax advisor.